Welcome back to episode number 4 of the Bulldog Bark. We are Crown Point Football's only broadcast, and we're here live with head football coach Craig Fuzia after another great win last week. Coach, how you doing this week?
Doing great, feeling good, and looking forward to talking to you about last week and moving on to this week.
Well, let's jump right into that game against Maryville. Number 2 ranked team in 5A, always a tough competitor, one of your biggest rivals. And it was a 39-6 victory. I'm sure planning for this game, you did not see a lopsided game like this coming.
No, anytime you play a team like this, you're just hoping to be competitive and hopefully find a way to get a victory at the end. But our kids were locked in all week long. I think they felt like they had something to prove, and from the opening kickoff, I thought our defense was outstanding. Offense stumbled a couple of times, but we're able to put up enough points, and just a very, very satisfying win for our guys. Very happy for our players and our coaches. I think our assistant coaches did an absolutely fantastic job getting our kids ready to play, and they executed like we would want them to, and probably the most important thing, or one of them on top of the doing.
Right, exactly. Now, I know you were going into the game, you were really worried about the speed of Maryville, and you guys were going to have to do the little things in order to match up with their speed. But whatever you did, we never really got to see the speed of some of their players.
Yeah, and usually, when you're talking speed, you're talking, from their offense, and they do have plenty of speed, but their defense is quick and fast, but most importantly, powerful up front. They have a very, very good front four, and that was a big concern. But watching our guys tackle in space was probably the most satisfying thing of that game. In the past, they have really exposed our weakness and our lack of speed, but I thought, our guys dominated up front, let our linebackers make the play, and then our guys on the perimeter, our corners or safeties. We got a couple young guys in, and we're starting two sophomores at the safeties, and thought they did a great job of tackling in space and not giving them much yards after the catch. So it's always good when somebody says, "Hey, I wasn't able to see Maryville's speed," because evidently, obviously that we didn't let them get going. So that was very, very satisfying, and hats off to our players in the secondary. They did an outstanding job.
Another great job by the defense. But on the offensive side, another big outpouring of points, 39 points. And a lot of that this week was running back, your Ellis running back. He even got a little story about him in the newspaper. Hasn't been a running back until this year, and so far he's shown that he's doing.
Yeah, Larry Ellison has done just a fantastic job. Again, hasn't been a running back until we put him in there this summer, and he keeps it getting better and better. Not only does he handle the ball run the ball real well, he's really good out of the backfield as far as catching. He's an outstanding pass protection. He's really been extraordinary these first 3 games, and I think he ended up with almost 180 yards and 4 touchdowns against one of the best defenses that we'll see all year long. So, but as we always do, we got to circle back and talk about that offensive line. I think there was 3 of the touchdowns that he had, maybe all 4, that nobody put a hand on him. So when something like that's happening, someone's doing something right in our offensive line. Even though they're young and inexperienced, they keep getting better and better each week. Hats off to Coach Cicero and Coach Jones for coaching those guys up. And it's been a journey. Since we took over, in the summer with these guys. It's really been a journey to get these guys on the same page, and I think they're starting to gel. So, when you could put 39 points in, I guess we're a little disappointed. Our kicking game suffered a little bit and cost us 3 extra points and getting into the 40s for the third time. But, 39 points with, a little over 3 quarters for our offense, we'll take it, but we know we still got work to do.
All right, Coach, you're 3-0 on the season now, 1-0 in the Duneland Conference. A good start. How important was it to get off to a good start like this?
Well, it's really important. Obviously, you start with what most people consider one of the 2 best teams in the conference with Maryville, and you don't get to really ooze into it. You get it right from the start, and you're going to find out how good you are. And again, this was the second-ranked team in 5A, and to get them out of the way and be able to be 1-0, it's huge and big confidence booster for our guys, and but it doesn't get any easier this week at all.
Well, before we get into this week's game, let's take a quick look at some of the award winners from this past game against Maryville. You give out an offensive award every week. Who gets it this week?
Well, we searched long and hard not to have to give it to Larry again, but when somebody puts up 4 touchdowns, 180 yards in 3 quarters of work, and Larry understands it's not all about him. We talked about that when we gave the award out last night, but just doing an exceptional job. So our offensive player of the week for the second time out of 3 weeks is junior running back Larry Ellison.
A lot of people on the highlight film for defense, but who gets the defensive player this week?
Yeah, defensive, if we give out a team award, it would be that, because all those guys have played their butts off. I mean, it was just so satisfying to watch our defense run and tackle and cover and do all those type of things. And again, I give a shout out to Coach Granger and all the defensive staff, because they put a very, very solid game plan together. And so our winner this week is senior linebacker Drew Kroll.
All right, and special teams.
Special teams. It really came down to one play, and unfortunately, we had to punt the ball for the first time. It was a quick kick, and Noah did a great job of putting his foot on the ball and getting it where it needed to be. But a great hustle play by Cam Sorsey to keep the ball from going into the end zone, putting them on the 1-inch line, pinning them back, and changing the whole landscape of the game. And so Cam did a great job of hustling down. We work on it every Thursday, that little pooch putt like that, and Cam executed it just like we talked about. So senior Cam Sorsey is going to be our special teams player of the week.
All right, and then you always give out 2 awards for the scout team. How about those guys?
Yep, scout team player of the week goes to our offensive player of the week, goes to a guy who just keeps on getting better and better each week, and we're going to see him a lot more in the field as he keeps progressing. But did a great job giving the defense a picture, and our scout offensive player of the week goes to sophomore Caden Smith.
And on the defensive side?
Defensive side, again, we were looking for guys that could, sort of simulate what Maryville did on the defensive line, because they are an extraordinary group of guys that we had to go against. And one of the guys that gave us a great look all week long, and I think was a big part of our success, was our sophomore Amir Plowden.
All right. Well, congratulations to all of those players on this week's award. From what I saw, there were probably 3 or 4 bone-crushing hits, but did you have a bone crusher this week?
We did, and again, a lot of bantering back and forth between the coaches, staff, and it really came down to a lot of great hits. But what we're trying to do is give this award to someone that had an impact on that particular play, and nobody had a bigger impact than Paul Clark pulling out on a quick screen to the right. And not only did he make the block, but he took the defender and knocked him and depleted him and knocked him backwards and did a backwards roll. And it was right at the point of attack. And it was an outstanding block by senior Paul Clark. It's our bone crusher of the week.
All right. Well, congratulations again to all the players and all the award recipients for this past game. We'll continue to keep a look at those as we continue on with the Bulldog Bark throughout the year. Coach, let's take a look at this next game coming up. It's on the road. It's been a while since you've been on the road, a couple of weeks, and you go to the home of the Indians at Lake Central. What do we know about the Indians?
Well, Coach Good continues to put a fine product on the field. He's been there, I think, maybe his 3rd year coming into it, and they keep getting better and better every time you turn on the film. They're just progressing and doing a great job, and coming off a comeback victory over Portage last week, and they got a Division I running back guy that's going to the Big Ten, and we talked about it in regards to when was the last time Crown Point had the opportunity to go against a Big Ten running back. So we're gonna see when this week, and Xavier Williams, an Iowa commit, and they go as he goes, and so we got our hands full in regards to our defense, and they got outstanding quarterback that does a nice job in not only throwing the ball, catching the ball, or throwing the ball, and running the ball, but does a nice job in their RPO game. So we're really going to have to be on our toes with that, and defensively, since Coach Goods got there, they've had that defense playing well, and they scrap, they get after it, they're fast, they're quick, aggressive, and so we'll have to have a great week of preparation, and then go into a pretty hostile environment in the Barrow grounds here. Great stadium, great environment to play, and I know our guys are looking forward to it.
Coach, I know when most people watch the Bulldogs play, they're looking at them and thinking, man, everything's just going great. But what are you kind of looking at after the first 3 games going into Lake Central here that you really want to see improve?
Yeah, we got to do some things. We got to take care of the football. Last year we had 3 turnovers in the entire season. I think this year we've got 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and all 3 of those interceptions have been in the end zone. So that's some points that are being taken away, and that's not just one person's fault. The quarterbacks are putting it where they need to be, but our receivers got to fight for the ball a little bit better, and we know that. We talked about that yesterday, so we're expecting a big change on that, and you can continue to get better execution-wise, both offensively and defensively. We talk all the time to our players that victory is a deodorant. Sometimes it hides some things that are a little bit stinky. Just because you won doesn't mean you're doing everything right. And so, going over the film, there are plenty of things that we need to correct, and we hope to continue to do it during the practice, and hopefully it shows in the game. Well,
Coach, best of luck to you this Friday night. I wish you all the luck in the world against the Indians, and thanks a lot for joining us here again this week.
Ski, it's been a pleasure. Always enjoy talking Bulldog football with you. Hope our fans are enjoying this podcast. And if they ever have any comments or questions or anything, please send them to us, and we can certainly see if we can make it happen on the podcast. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting over to Lake Central, having a great week of practice, and hope our fans follow us, because our fans have been obviously a great help to us. So hope to see you Friday.
All right, 7 o'clock at Lake Central for the Bulldogs against the Indians. Thanks for joining us on this week's podcast of the Bulldog Bark. We'll see you next week. See you later, everybody.